Hi, here's a training video on how to proceed with creating leads and documenting future prospects for Kabinaa in Close CRM. We will begin by looking at two potential leads. So initial qualification calls were made to these two leads that you see here in yellow, and we will basically proceed to go ahead and put these leads into Close CRM. First things first, we have the contact info. So we have here Geneviève Daou, her phone number, and all the details are here. Now, sometimes we have some very general information. So we only have a first name. So for example, here, there's only Geneviève. So we don't have anything. So in this case, this is the kind of contact where we'll need to get more info. But at the bare minimum, what we need in terms of information is to have simply first name, last name, cell phone number, and also any pertinent information. So anything that was discussed. So anything that can be used in a mindset where on the actual sales call that'll be completed, we can go ahead and see what we can anchor onto. For example, if the person said that, oh, you're calling just at the right time, I'm tired, I'm sick of managing my own listing, it's very demanding. Well, this is information that is extremely useful in the sales call, because the sales call will be followed basically with comments like, oh yeah, I heard it's a lot of work. You realize it's a lot of work managing your own listing. We have many listings ourselves, so we know what's behind that, but we've become really experts in the domain. So it's this kind of mindset that we're going to look at. So let's go ahead and start creating. Ideally, it's to use Close CRM, the desktop version, which is what I have installed here. Top left corner, we see leads. So I will click on adding a new lead. And I will go ahead and put the contact name. It's important to have the full name. All sales calls are personalized. They are not generic. So we will go ahead and see basically Geneviève Daou. And we'll create the new lead. Very important to check if there's any duplicates, just to make sure we don't contact the same person twice. It doesn't give us much credibility if we're going ahead and contacting them 2 times. So we'll go ahead and create that lead. And we see basically that the leads window is automatically going to open, and you see a manually created lead that's there. We will go ahead and basically put the contact name, and I'm going to see in some situations there's a Facebook page, there's some other details that we can search. If that's the case, it's always a good idea to go ahead and search. What I will do is I will copy this person's cell phone number, and I will head into Facebook. I will go do a very quick search with the person's cell phone number. You never know. Sometimes somebody will pop up. They don't. I will also go ahead and do a Google search for the person, put the phone number in, and you see obviously the person's listing comes in different places. So see, here's already some useful information that we have. We will make sure that we actually capture this as well, because we have the person's email. First step, before we put the person's email in, I will go to a site called phonevalidator.com. What is this used for? This site will tell me if this phone number is a cell phone number. We'll do a search. So it shouldn't be too long. And it tells me that is a cell phone, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want, because our first contact is always done by text message. We'll go ahead here under contact, and we'll make sure to put in her phone number and to put that it's a mobile phone. Now, when we searched her phone number, we actually were able to find her email. So we'll actually copy that as well, and that will also be inserted in here. And we'll say that basically this is her, we'll call it her office, even though it's a Gmail. A lot of these small operators have essentially using a Gmail address instead of an actual domain. Perfect. So right away, we see that at the top of the CRM, we have email and SMS have become activated, which means we can contact them directly by SMS. We won't do that just yet. We're actually going to go on to the next step and see basically what info that we had. In this case, the info that we had that was coming from the actual sales call, we'll select the information that's here, and we will go back into CRM. So whoever the person is that basically made that initial qualification call, I'll put them in here. I'll create a note, click on note, and with square brackets, we'll put the name of the person who made the contact. So in this case, I know that it's Sammy who made the contact. And I will go ahead and put the information that was received. Now, in this case, there was nothing specific. I know that the information was And I'll put it in French because this person basically spoke in French with her. So, personne en attente d'un retour d'appel et regarde notre site internet en attente. So, this way, this gives the cue to the person doing the sales call, which in this case will be me. I will go ahead and click done. And basically, I have the information here, which is the first step. The next step is that I know this person was contacted today. So I will create a new task. I will put it in French and call it Nouveau Prospect. Why am I putting it in French? I put it in French because we discussed everything in French with this person. And we put the date where this person was found as a new prospect. So this was on today. So it was the 12th of September. So go ahead and save that. What that does is it assigns a task, and it'll show up as a task as a new prospect. What that will do is when that new prospect task is there from today, once I go ahead and I go into the inbox here, you can see that Geneviève Dao was there, and it shows it's a new prospect. That'll give a cue to the person doing the actual sales call that there's a new prospect there and there's somebody to call. So let me go back into the lead. I'll leave that there for now. And that's the first step that we're going to do. The next step, we know that this person's listing, so in this case, if there's an Airbnb listing, if there's a Chalet au Québec listing, in this case, this whole database of information that we have comes from site Chalet au Québec. So we got the information from there. We have the name of the listing that's here. So I'll go back into Google. And this time, I will search for Chalet au Québec. I will put in quotes the title of the listing. Very important to put in quotes. If you do not put in quotes, what happens is you're going to probably end up getting the wrong listing. So I'll click that. And Chalet au Québec, Chalet de Nénuphar du Lac Paré à Chersey comes up. And this was the listing we were looking for. Now, how can we be sure? Look at that. Geneviève Daou. So we check, just make sure that the name is exactly the same so that we have the correct listing. We're going to go ahead and copy the URL for the listing. We're going to go back and close. The top left corner, you see there's URL. We're going to put that in. In description, we're going to go ahead, copy the name of the title of the listing. And we're going to go down in the listing just to know where this property is located. Roughly about half the way down on the website, we're going to select the region and the city. So in this case, the region is Lanaudière and the city is Chersey. So we're going to copy that and paste that underneath. Now, if there was a website, if there was an Airbnb listing, if there was any other pertinent information, we would go ahead and enter that underneath as well. Just leave a space when you do that. This way it's nice and clean and it's easy to read. So we'll click save. That information gets saved as well. The next step is to go ahead and basically, we already updated all the info. We lucked out here. So we have all the contacts information and we have the person's name, email, cell phone, everything is there. The next step is going to be basically the sales part. So a preliminary part needs to be done initially. Now, there will not be a call done immediately in this case. What we'll do is go ahead and check an inbox. In inbox, we see that the prospect we created is there, which is perfect. And what we'll do is we're going to do as a first step, click SMS. The SMS window pops up and we will write a polite message in French. So, bonjour, Madame Daou. Let's keep it formal for the first call. And basically, the first thing is to link to the phone call that was done initially as qualification. So I'll say, vous avez jasé à mon collègue plutôt aujourd'hui. So I'm going to mention it today because the call was done today. If it was Friday, I would have written Friday. I will write, seriez-vous disponible pour une brève discussion téléphonique pour vous présenter de quelle façon nous pouvons augmenter pour vendre pour votre chalet. So if it's a chalet, I'll write chalet. If it's a condo, I will write condo. So pour votre chalet à Jersey. And thank the person. Merci et au plaisir. 30. We'll put the name basically so they can actually track me down. So we'll put my name, full name, without any mistakes, please. And the website, which is Kabinaa with 28.ca. We're just going to reread just to make sure that everything's okay. Bonjour, Madame Daou. Vous avez jasé à mon collègue plus tôt aujourd'hui. Serez-vous disponible pour une brève discussion téléphonique? It's important we'll put a time frame cette semaine pour vous présenter de quelle façon nous pouvons augmenter vos ventes pour votre chalet à Chelsea. Merci, au plaisir d'apprendre à se connaître. And basically, we'll go ahead and hit send. Now, that text message initially will stay in the outbox. If you made a mistake, you can undo it. So you have about 5-10 seconds to go ahead and do that. So it's going to basically, see, it just sent. So now we can't undo it anymore. It's gone. It's no longer a new prospect. So we'll mark that as completed. And what we'll do is put a suivi. That's the next step. Suivi plus contact, because we did a contact, and put a reminder in 2 days. What that will do is that on September 14th, save that. On September 14th, it'll give me a pop-up, or whoever's doing the sales call, saying that we have to follow up after sending this initial text message. So once I go into inbox, I can double check and see what's coming up, basically future. And as you can see, there's suivi post-contact. There's some that's rencontre à planifier. So people who actually answered, the next step is rencontre à planifier. I have a phone conversation, for example, that's booked with him. All of these will pop up. Basically, we'll see everything that's coming down the line and what has been planned in terms of scheduling, and we'll be able to see it. And obviously, when we look at whatever is currently in the inbox, it's done. There's nothing that is currently there that needs to be taken care of. So that's it. This completes the training session for how to complete a new lead in Close CRM for Kabinaa. And if there are any questions, well, don't be shy. Thanks.